So let me ask two follow-up questions based on that
Yeah.
use case so that we can understand what's to come forward. So I'm going to go by an option, and is the option on open a specific contract with a set of parameters, as in the strike price and the expiry date? And there are multiple of these contracts that either you or the market creates. They're essentially products, they're packaged products.
Yeah.
And so uh, you have to buy, you have to find a trade on the other side who's willing to buy that premium, essentially buy the option from you. Uh, where is that happening?
Yeah, so this is a great question. And so open is essentially an insurance or like an options marketplace where there's a pool of sellers and a pool of buyers. So for, let's say, a certain set of parameters, like let's say the 200 strike option expiring on May 16th, um, protection on ETH, there's there's a pool of sellers who are creating this option. You don't know who created it. Very similar to if you're a die holder, you don't know who created the die. You just have a die and that's cool. So in this case, you just have an option, which is an O token, and that's cool. And it's an ERC20 that's fungible with all other O tokens as part of the same series. Um, so this is actually where things start to get more interesting, which is because they're fungible, you can do more than just buy them. You can buy and sell them, which means if you wanted to protect yourself as ETH starts to fall in price, you can either exercise this option or you can sell this option. And this is kind of where it things start to get even more exciting, because sometimes selling your option is even more profitable than just exercising your option. So we actually saw this happen when ETH kind of went a little below 200 a couple of days ago, where some users were trying to exercise their option. Um, so let's take an example. Let's say you paid $5 to buy this option. Now, let's say ETH is at 199. If you were to exercise this option, uh, you basically have the right to sell your ETH for 200, which is $1 above the market price. So your net profit is you paid 5 for the premium, you made 1 from exercising your option. So -5 plus 1 -4. Instead, if you sold this option on the market, you could instantly make $10 because the premium has now gone up. And so you paid -5, or you paid 5 for this option, but you're selling it at 10. You've already made -5 plus 10, $5. And so having the ability to sell it on a secondary market makes it a very powerful hedge.
Okay. So going back to that one statement you said where these O tokens are fungible, does that mean that the different series are fungible, or is it just the tokens within a single series are fungible?
Yeah, it's all the tokens within a single series which are fungible.
Okay. So
Yeah.
what that means is that if the seller were to create a specific, it's like an NFT in a
Yeah.
sense, right? It's like an NFT where the parameters are the expiry date and the strike price and all that stuff. And what that means is that there are infinite number of possibilities of creating these series, right? They're infinite series in theory, because
Mhm.
all of these dates and prices, they're all continuous numbers, right? So
Mhm.
how is that resolved? Like, is there a rule, or everyone just throws it out and figures out what
Yeah.
has?
So basically, what ends up happening is we create, I mean, anyone can create their own series, but so far we've been creating series. So there's maybe like 5 or 6 series trading at any point of time. And a seller is selling within a series, and the buyer is buying within that same series. It's kind of like if someone took Maker and like had 5 forks of Maker trading at the same time. Each of those dies are like single collateral die is fungible within single collateral die, and multi collateral die is fungible within that. not fungible between the two things, but since they only exist like two or three of these, it's still okay. And anyone who's creating dye is creating one of these dye. They're not creating both. Or
I
they
see.
may be creating both, but like it's two separate things.
Okay, so that's how you're able to make the actual O tokens fungible, even though the
Exactly.
underlying series are not really. Okay,
Yeah.
so interesting. Okay, okay, and then the second question I have is, how do you price the premium for these options?
Yeah, that's a great question. So currently they're market priced, and when we bootstrap the market, we set an initial price for them based on what a similar option contract would get you in like Deribit on Deribit or other options exchanges. But after that, markets will just buy and sell and price it. Um, this is another reason why like Uniswap as a pricing function for options doesn't make sense. And in traditional finance, they're priced using something called like Black-Scholes, um, which is a better way of pricing an option. And you need to kind of take into account volatility, expiration date, price of the underlying asset, all these different factors. You can't just take into account like how much people bought and how much people sold.